Good evening to you. Thank you for creating time to catch the latest in Kenya and beyond borders right here on Sunday Express. 16 days into the month of January, the year 2022, a year that is seeing the country really experiencing a lot of political activities. We got details about what some of the politicians were out and about doing this particular weekend, contained in our comprehensive news bulletin that begins right now. Plus, we are also having our first interview of the year on Sunday Express. I will be engaging Dr. Emmanuel Ayodi Lusigi. He is a specialist family physician from Vihiga County. Of course, he has a lot to tell us about his journey and of course what he aspires to do going forward. A very strong passion for community service, what he has done to build lives in his community. He'll be sharing that with us, plus lessons we can learn in his journey as a doctor. That coming up in our comprehensive news bulletin that begins right now. But first, here are the top stories.
These young people you are using to throw stones, they are only available to you for the next 6 months. After that, these young people, they will be unavailable.
Deputy President William Ruto speaks against political intolerance as police fire tear gas at rowdy youth who caused chaos at his rally in Jacaranda, Nairobi.
Tafute namna haraka, muende kwa runinga, kwa sababu siku hiyo tutakuwa na msisimuko wa ardhi kwa mambo ya kisiasa kwa taifa la Kenya.
ANC leader Musa Mudavadi hints at a major political announcement during his party's National Delegates Conference. IEBC kicks off the final voter registration exercise on Monday, targeting 4.5 million voters. And a milestone in disability inclusion as Presbyterian Church inducts another deaf reverend. Once again, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter for tonight is Byron Abuli. You're a part of this, so do engage us on social media at KBC Channel 1. Use the hashtag Sunday Express. We begin straight away with our top story. Deputy President William Ruto now says misuse of the youth by the political class will no longer characterize heated elections in the event he assumes power on the 8th of August 2022. Ruto, who spoke at Jacaranda grounds in Nairobi, where his rally was disrupted by rowdy youths, claimed creation of perceived political bedrooms was fueling intolerance among the public.
Deputy President's remark on political intolerance was sparked by an attempt by some rowdy youth to disrupt his meeting in Jacaranda grounds in Nairobi by hurling stones at the crowd attending UDA rally. The DP taking a swipe at politicians whom he claimed have been misusing the youths in spreading hate speech, violence and intimidation.
These young people you are using to throw stones, they are only available to you for the next 6 months. After that, these young people, they will be unavailable because we will give them jobs and we will let them work for their sweat.
The DP saying false creation of political bedrooms in some parts of the country has been fueling political intolerance.
Bedroom ya Wakenya wote. Na hii ya makazi tutakuja na kukuja na kukuja na kukuja tena. Tunaelewana? Tunaelewana? We will not allow anybody to balkanize the country and create bedrooms. We will not allow anybody to instill fear in the people of Kenya by spreading violence.
An agitated deputy president who recounted the stoning of his motorcade in Kondele, saying such hooliganism will not distract his race to State House.
My friend, the master of violence, wewe umetupangia mambo ya fujo. Umetupangia mambo ya fujo huko Kondele. Umekuja hapa ukapanga fujo hapa Embakasi East. Wewe ndio signature yako tunajua. Hii mambo ya violence Mr. Master of Violence, I want to tell you, this violence you have organized in this republic, and you want to use violence as a means to get to public office. I want to tell you, Mr. Kitendawili, you will not succeed.
The DP further pledged to deliver on the Jubilee Big Four's agenda and exuded confidence of emerging the victor in the August poll.
We expect from you, Bwana Kitendawili, an undertaking that when you lose the elections on the 9th of August this year, you are not going to organize violence. You are not going to swear yourself in. You are not going to organize maandamano. You are going to go home.
For Sunday Express, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Now, still staying on matters politics, Amani National Congress leader Musa Mudavadi has vowed to change the country's political landscape in a week's time when the party holds its National Delegates Conference. Mudavadi, who was speaking in Nyamira, however, fell short of stating whether he will still vie for presidency through a coalition or he will go it alone.
Amani National Congress stalwarts have been categorical that even in One Kenya alliance, the preferred presidential candidate ought to be their party leader Musa Mudavadi.
Sisi tunaomba, the only formula that we shall accept in One Kenya alliance ni kama Musalia atapeperusha bendera ya One Kenya alliance.
His absence at the engagement raised eyebrows, but he said he was engaged in preparation for ANC National Delegates Conference slated for 23rd January.
Don't you think you're beating a dead horse here, in the sense that they had already made these declarations? All right? So I hope that now answers the issue, that there was any boycott or anything. I was busy, and I told my colleagues as such.
Without hinting at his next move, Mudavadi stated that his announcement at the NDC is bound to upset the political landscape.
Tafute namna haraka muende kwa runinga, kwa sababu siku hiyo tutakuwa na msisimuko wa ardhi kwa mambo ya kisiasa kwa taifa la Kenya.
Speaking in Nyamira, Mudavadi however dismissed claims of joining anyone ahead of the forthcoming general election.
Sitaki kutoa siri zote sahihi, kwa sababu nitakuwa nimetoa utamu na ladha kwa siku hiyo, na tutakuwa na mambo ambayo uamuzi wetu kama ANC kulingana na siasa yetu na siasa ya kitaifa tutakuwa tukizungumza pale.
Leaders accompanying him, led by Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja, say the country will benefit more from his presidency.
KBC wamezindua program ya mwisho ya kujisajili kama wapigaji kura. Tafadhali chukueni kura, kwa sababu kura yenu ndio itabadilisha maisha yenu. Sio kelele, sio kwenda kwa marallies na huna kura kwa mfuko. So tafadhali, sasa ile mass registration drive inaanza, na inaanza wiki ambayo inakuja. Tafadhali muende mujisajili ili tuwe na redi kubwa ya vijana ambao wataamua nani atakuwa rais, nani atakuwa governor, senator, MP, women rep hadi MCA.
Sakaja said Mudavadi is the best bet yet for Kenya and urged Kenyans to support his presidential bid.
Anajua watu wameingia wasiwasi, wanashangaa Musalia anafanya nini, anapanga aje. Muangalie vizuri, read his lips, watch his movements, hapo ndio serikali itapatikana. Sawa sawa.
Timothy Kipnosu, Sunday Express.
All right, and as we continue to witness those political developments, here's how you can play a part in that big decision that the country will be making on the 8th of August 2022. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, will tomorrow embark on the second phase of the voter registration that will take place in all the 1,450 county assembly wards across the country until February 6th. The commission targets to net at least 4.5 million new voters in the second phase of the mass voter registration exercise, with those residing outside the country given 15 days from the 21st of January 2022 to register as voters.
With less than 7 months before IEBC undertakes the 2022 general elections, the Wafula Chebukati-led commission embarks on the second and final phase of voter registration exercise from Monday 17th January to conclude on Sunday 6th February 2022.
We have our constituency election officers. They are also meeting stakeholders at the grassroots level. With those meetings, they are going to style their registration process according to that community. You see, we have to be community responsive commission. So if the women there are always at the water points, are always at the marketplace, that officer of IBC on the ground will make sure that the schedule that they put for the movement of the Kim's kit is according to the social-economic lifestyle of the people.
The second phase offers yet another opportunity to eligible Kenyans to register as voters, transfer polling station, or change their particulars, with the commission targeting to net 4.5 million new voters.
We have given kits at the universities, Robbie, and they want to register they will want to vote maybe in wherever in the country, Nakuru, they still can register within their school premises.
Registration of citizens residing outside the country will take place for 15 days from 21st January 2022. The commission will conduct the exercise in 12 countries, among them Burundi, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, South Africa, United Kingdom, Canada, USA, South Sudan, Qatar, UAE and Germany. During the first phase of voter registration, the IBC Commission admitted that it failed to achieve its target of adding 6 million new voters to its register after managing to register slightly over 1.5 million new voters. Unfulfilled political promises, societal fatigue occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, and lack of enthusiasm from political class were blamed for the voter apathy witnessed in the first phase of the month-long voter registration exercise. Ben Chumba, Sunday Express.
There you go. So have you registered as a voter? And will your voice be heard on the 8th of August? That is the question we're asking you. In case you haven't, that exercise is being rolled out beginning tomorrow, so make sure you do. Now to Lamu, Coastal Regional Commissioner John Elungata has ordered the immediate reopening of all schools in Lamu West Sub-County of Lamu County from Tuesday next week. This follows deployment of a multi-agency security team to restore normalcy in the area.
The directive comes after the Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata, in company of senior security officers from the region, held a meeting at Kibaoni Police Station to discuss the security situation in the county.
Kwa sahi tusikubali kuombwa ati tusichungie hii petrol station, sijui tuchungie hii, sijui nini posho mill, sijui tuchungie hii, sijui conservancy, hapana. Hawa wana watchmen wao wa kuchunga. Wewe ni mwananchi na yule adui anayetaka kumsumbua mwananchi.
Addressing the residents who are forced to flee their home seeking refuge at Angle Primary School following a suspected Al-Shabaab attack, the Coast Regional Commissioner urged the residents to go back home.
In fact, kazi yetu ingekuwa imekwisha, tungeambiwa yule mtu alichoma ile gari ya Amu Ranch, yule mtu alichoma wale watu wa Widho, walipita hapa, walikuwa watoto fulani, tunashuku ni fulani, hata kushuku tu, semeni tu mnashuku.
Elungata, assuring them of government support to build their lives, however, called on residents to cooperate with security officers in apprehending the criminals.
Na wazee wa mtaa tupalilie ground. Polisi waweze kupita na wanajeshi wakitoa wale watu ni wabaya ambao wanatusumbua. Kupalilia nikufanya nini? Kuprovide information na kutengeneza watch.
A move the residents have welcomed, lauding the government for its swift action.
Tukikaa hapa sana, wataleta ng'ombe ndani ya mashamba. Tuambiane tu ukweli, sisi tunajua. So bwana RC, sisi hatutaki kukaa kwenye kambi, tunataka kurudi mashambani, lakini pia tunataka tulindwe.
Security was disrupted in the area following an attack early this month, leaving 13 people dead, including 4 police officers who were killed after their vehicle was hit by an explosive device. Following the attack, tension built in areas of Juhudi, Witho, Mashigoni, Kamukunji in Majembeni location and Bobo in Hindi location, resulting in residents fleeing to nearby schools for shelter. For Sunday Express, I'm Zainab Said.
Now, 310 people have tested positive for COVID-19 from a sample size of 3,961 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 7.8%. From the cases, 256 are Kenyans, while 54 are foreigners. Total confirmed positive cases are now at 317,634, with cumulative tests conducted so far being 3,147,823. Today, 3,384 patients have recovered from the disease, from 3,329 from the home-based and isolation care program, while 55 are from various health facilities countrywide. Total recoveries now stand at 284,727. Of these, 233,586 are from the home-based care and isolation program, while 51,141 are from various health facilities. Fortunately, no death has been reported today. Now let's move this forward. The Presbyterian Church of Kenya, Kayole South Branch, today made history with the induction of the second Presbyterian Deaf Reverend in Kenya and East Africa. Reverend George Obonyo's induction is largely viewed as a move that seeks to enhance disability inclusion in the church, a trend that the deaf community and people living with disability hope will be replicated in other churches across the country. Nancy Okware with that report.
Sunday morning at the Presbyterian Church, Kayole South Branch in Nairobi County. Congregants are gathered here for a special service. A closer look at the congregants, you'll notice some using sign language during praise and worship. The choir is also conducting some of the songs in sign language. Disability inclusion in this church quite evident, with over 160 deaf people part of the church membership. On this day, the service is a rare one, as faithful here witness the induction of Reverend George Obonyo. Obonyo becoming the second deaf reverend for the Presbyterian Church in Kenya and East Africa.
The church would want to reach all her people. Different able-bodied people, they also need Christ in many ways. And therefore, the ministry and many others, we want men and women who are equipped by the Lord to go on and reach them.
We have the deaf people, the people who are disabled differently. We have the blind there. So we continue to serve them there. Being one community, we are going to care and encourage them that this is not the end. So as my role, I'm going to encourage everybody who is deaf in different places.
Reverend Obonyo will be in charge of the deaf ministries in the Nairobi East area. In a bid to also ensure children living with disability are not left out, the church also has a hearing impairment children's ministry.
We are privileged to have a Sunday school that accommodates the deaf people, that have interpreters who can interpret for the deaf, and we also have the deaf people who can teach the deaf children their own language.
The congregants with hearing disability hoping this gesture will be extended to other churches in the country in furtherance of disability mainstreaming across the board.
It is a prayer that the church will continue serving persons with disability, involving the deaf, and we want to thank God so much.
With the induction of Reverend George Obonyo, history has been written. It is a move that will see a more inclusive ministry where everyone counts. Nancy Okwari reporting for Sunday Express from PCA Church, Kariobangi South, Nairobi County.
Wonderful story there by Nancy Okwara. Indeed, disability is not inability. Inspiring story there. Now, we are going to be taking a very short break, but remember, Sunday Express continues. Tonight, we are going to be having a conversation about empowering communities. I will be having a sit-down shortly with Dr. Emmanuel Ayodi Lusigi. He is a specialist family physician from Vihiga County, a man who decided that serving his patients was not enough to the community. We'll be talking about what he has done and how lives are being changed in that community, what he plans going forward. When we come back from this break, do stay with us.
Beacon Furnitures Limited. We're local manufacturers of quality office furniture, dealers in quality office equipment like fireproof safes and cabinets. Our automated state-of-the-art factories at Henna House along Enterprise Road in Nairobi's industrial area. Our showroom is at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. We are passionate believers in locally manufactured goods. When you and I buy locally made furniture, we impact on the livelihoods of our brothers and sisters. For orders, visit our showroom at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. Beacon Furnitures Limited. Jenga Kenya, Pate Ajira.
Ningekupa kipaumbele kama mke wangu. Hata simwelewi. Unaogopa kumpa salamu. Manake haeleweki na vituko kama ni ule mzee. Mimi namjua mke wako kweli?
Furaha hakuna. Ndio mwanzo mambo yamezidi kuvurugika.
Tipili anayuko sawa.
Can you stop doing that?
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. New episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping it Sunday Express. Now, more into the political world. Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa has dismissed claims of growing division among Kenyans as the country heads to the general election, saying what exists is differences of opinion among the political class as they align themselves to their preferred candidate. Wamalwa, however, threw his support behind Raila Odinga's Azimio la Umoja movement, saying that the country will be united under his leadership.
Speaking in Mombasa, Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene rubbished claims that Kenyans were divided as the country approaches the electioneering period, noting that differences of opinion should not be misconstrued to mean division of any kind.
I do not think it is true that there's any division. It is just a matter of choices, and the people are united. They are the leaders who are divided.
Omalo, however, gave the Azimio la Umoja movement a nod, calling on Kenyans to give Raila the mandate to lead when elections are called in August.
In good time, people, their choice will be known, and people are looking forward to a united country under Azimio la Umoja.
On the gubernatorial race, Nairobi lawyer George Kithi says he has bowed to pressure from the Pamoja African Alliance party to shelve his senatorial ambitions and instead contest for the Kilifi County governorship on the party ticket. Elsewhere, Meru Governor, who is also the leader of the Devolution Empowerment Party, Kiraito Murungi, says the party will not fold to join any other party, saying they will use the region's numerical strength to bolster the region's bargaining power in national politics. Elsewhere, Meru Governor, who is also the leader of the Democratic Empowerment Party, Kiraito Murungi, says the party will not fold to join any other party, saying they will use the region's numerical strength to bolster the region's bargaining power in national politics.
Tukiingia msituni kuwinda kutafuta nyama, hata sisi tutakula, hata koja kupatiwa mifupa.
Meanwhile, KANU has exuded confidence that it will bag more seats in the forthcoming election. Nakuru County KANU chairman John Muthengo Njiri claims recent defections to the party are an indication of the strength of the party in the region that has been revamping in readiness for the August poll.
Mimi nimeresign kutoka UDA nikajoin KANU. Na sijakuja peke yangu. Nimejoin na watu 70.
In Isiolo, the race to the Isiolo North parliamentary seat continues to gain momentum, with the Sharaf clan of the Somali community endorsing Isiolo businessman Osman Sharif to contest. Announcing the decision, the Asharaf clan chairman Ahmed Sharif Mohammed said that it was time that Isiolo Central Division supports one of their own to ascend to the position in order to serve Isiolo people better.
Kwa hiyo tunaomba tafadhali ndio aendelee kuzidi kusaidia wananchi, tumpe kura na tumchague, ni mkaaji na mzaliwa hapa.
A similar situation is unfolding in Eldama Ravine after elders gave Halima Abdul the go-ahead. During the event, residents were encouraged to shun divisive politics.
Siasa ya chuki, siasa ya ukabila na siasa ya kutatanisha wananchi. Hawa wananchi ndio wataamua ni nani watapatia awe kiongozi.
Reporting for Sunday Express, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
All right, thank you, Jackie, for that report. Now, across the counties, more than 4,000 people in Mombasa are set to benefit from a free medical camp undertaken by the Pakistan Navy in collaboration with the Kenyan Navy. Elsewhere, security agencies have been urged to provide better platforms for sharing classified information to enhance security. Details of this and more stories in our County News Wrap.
Long queues were witnessed outside the Coast General Training and Referral Hospital at Chaani Outreach Center as patients sought free medical services. Today was the second and last day of the free medical camp organized by the Kenyan Navy in collaboration with their Pakistani counterparts and both levels of government.
As we engage in this, enhancing our good relations between the Kenya Defense Forces and the Pakistani forces, and we are looking at a defense cooperation agreement which is underway, and Her Excellency the Ambassador has assured us that come February we'll have the Joint Chief of Staff visiting us in Kenya.
In Migori, Suna West Member of Parliament Peter Masara has called for devolution of infrastructure funds for schools from the Ministry of Education to the constituencies, saying these will enhance service delivery.
What I want to request the Ministry of Education, how I wish they can devolve their infrastructure money so that each constituency each year can know the budget from the ministry, that we are receiving such amount of money, then we plan with the money allocated to us.
On community policing, security agencies have been urged to provide better means of sharing classified information. Speaking at Nyakianga Police Station in Madhio Sub-County, Ahadi Kenya Trust Executive Director Stanley Kamau said instances where informants are required to testify in court deter sharing of information.
We need to protect that informers, and the only way we can be able to do that is through information boxes.
And a family in Malaba is yet to come to terms with the death of one of their own who was found lifeless after morning prayer at the Malaba Jomaya Mosque. It is unclear how he died, only that the mosque was flooded due to heavy downpour in the morning. Hassan Abdallah has left behind a widow and 4 children.
Naibu wa imam akaja kuangalia, akapata kweli maji yamejaa kwa msikiti kwa wingi kabisa. Lakini na yeye cha ajabu kaniambia, lakini ndani ya msikiti kuna mtu amefariki. Asijue kwamba ni ndugu yetu ambaye tunafanya ibada naye kila siku. Baada ya muda alipochunguza, kaniambia na si ndugu yetu Abdallah.
Meanwhile, another family in Mumias West is in agony after they found the body of their son hanging on the roof. The 30-year-old is said to have been embroiled in a land ownership tussle with an uncle. According to his father, Pascal Mukuyu, his son had paid his uncle 120,000 shillings for a piece of land that his uncle in turn sold to someone else. The area chief said the investigation into the incident has begun.
Nikasema na leo mbona haendi kazi, ama leo mbona hakuamka mapema. Fanya nilisukuma mlango, nikaona mlango ni msitu. Fanya nikasukuma akaanguka, nikapata yamekufa.
Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Sunday Express.
All right, thank you, Beatrice, for that report. Well done, Kip Kemoi from Utawala. Thank you for watching. Ndolo Kivotha from Kadhiani. We appreciate your time. Of course, also continue interacting with us on social media at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag Sunday Express. In just a bit, I will be having the interview I told you about. We'll be talking about empowering communities. Dr. Emmanuel Ayodi Lusigi is our guest tonight. He is a specialist family physician. We will be having a conversation in just a bit after this particular report. Of course, we want to tell you something that probably you may have been curious about. Now, beer is one of the oldest and most widely consumed alcoholic drink in the world, and the 3rd most popular drink after water and tea. Now, have you ever wondered how it is made? Nisi Imano takes us through all the stages in this premiere episode of the process.
Barley, yeast, hops, and water, the raw material in beer making.
The malted barley comes from the silo, comes through this conveyor to the stoner. These others remove the dust, basically cleaning the malted barley.
Most of the beer manufacturing process is a closed process with no contact for 0 chance of contamination.
This whole process is controlled from this central point.
The first step in the beer making process is mashing. Mashing is the combining of grist and water.
What happens here is conversion of starch to simple fermentable sugars like maltose.
The mixture is heated for 2 hours, causing the natural enzymes in the malt to break down starches, converting them into sugars, which will eventually become alcohol.
It is boiled for like an hour, and after boiling for the bitterness, because that will give you the bitterness in the final product. Another one is sterilizing.
The next step is loitering. This is where the liquid extract is separated from solids, also called the spent grains, separating the wort from spent grain. The lotaton separates the wort from the mash solids. The solids from the mash settle on the bottom and form a filter for the wort.
The particles emanating from boiling is separated here.
The third stage in brewing is spudging, where the remaining spent grain, which consists of grain husks and particles, are rinsed out with heated water to get as much of the sugars as possible from the remaining grain for the wort. One batch of the liquid extract in this case is 30,000 liters. The wort is then sterilized through a boiling process which halts enzyme activity and condenses the liquid. During the boiling, hops are added.
The bitter substance, which is called the alpha acids, so it is extracted by boiling.
The qualities of aroma, taste and bitterness that hops impart to beer depend on at what point they are added. Hops can be added early in the boiling for bittering, with more time boiled resulting in more bitterness. They can be added mid-boil for flavor or late boil for flavoring and aroma. Hops can also be added at stages after the boil.
It's added, but the dosing point is below this tank.
Next, a heat exchanger is used to reduce the wort to the temperature desired for fermentation.
At this point now, you are now ready to cool the liquid and take it to start fermenting.
Wort is transferred to a fermentation tank and the yeast is added. This stage is the primary fermentation, the conversion of alcohol and carbon dioxide that lead to an ale or a lager, depending on the type of yeast used.
You filter the beer and make it that sparkling clear.
Once yeast has been pitched at proper temperature, the beer is generally maintained. The process of the yeast converting sugars to alcohol generates heat and is monitored closely by brewers. During the conditioning process, the beer will mature and be smooth, and byproducts of the fermentation will diminish. The conditioning process can last from 1 to 6 weeks and sometimes even more. We move to the bottling section of the brewery, where recycled bottles are brought in and cleaned. This machine cleans 40,000 bottles in an hour. Then the inspection process begins, where the good bottles pass and the ones with chips and faults are rejected.
This is the rejection.
The bottles are then dried and recycled into new bottles that will now be filled with a fresh batch of beer. Next, the beer is crowned or capped with a bottle top. The beer is then pasteurized. Once the beer has fermented, it must be carbonated. This involves adding carbon dioxide to a container under high pressure, forcing it to be absorbed into the beer. This is done to improve shelf life.
And in the process is what we call carbonation. You add more carbon dioxide in it.
At every stage, the manufacturer scoops the beer for quality tests to confirm desired taste and acidity levels. The bottles are then filled with beer and capped and then sent to labeling. After the labels have been put, the bottles are passed in the Kenya Revenue Authority verification machine to be stamped as having passed all quality control tests and found fit for human consumption. The labeling goes hand in hand with counting and with verification. Once the labeling has been done, the beers are then packed into crates that are carried by cranes to the factory store and into waiting trucks that will then transport the beer to the wholesale and retail markets. Nisimano Koth for the process.
The process proudly brought to you by Buchan Furnitures Limited. Local manufacturers of quality office furniture and dealers in quality office equipment like fireproof safes and cabinets. For orders, visit our showroom at Uni Africa House, Koinange Land off Koinange Street.
Did you kiss my friend Achieng?
Yeah.
Don't you dare tell me that you two are only friends, huh?
I've already survived death. I'm not afraid. And you?
She said she'll be at this hotel at midnight, and that I should surprise her.
Not the jealous type. You don't love him. You were just satisfying your ego by helping him. But you'll only make him want to depend on you even more. You're not helping him at all. What he needs right now is to suffer and learn to be independent.
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，会放进去好久不再。
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
All right, and now we are on to our interview tonight, and we're just about to have a conversation with a gentleman who defied all odds. Growing up in a humble village, he decided this is not going to define who he's going to be. He made the list of the best male student once in his district, and this saw him being enrolled in one of the prestigious high schools in the country, Alliance High School, and he got an A-plane. It's one thing to join Alliance, it's another to come out of that place with an A-plane, something that helped him to achieve his dream of becoming a doctor. He's sitting here today as a doctor, but the reason we are having him is because of the role he has played to change lives in his community. And tonight we're talking about empowering communities. That is why we have him here to share in his experience, his journey, and what he's doing, and of course also just to help us better understand how we can better the lives of those who are vulnerable in our society going forward. I'm talking about none other than Dr. Emmanuel Ayodi Lusigi, and he's sitting right next to me. Daktari, thank you so much for creating time for us tonight.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the invite.
Karibu sana. I don't feel like I did your intro justice, so I'll give you a chance. Should I add there, you served also as the medical superintendent at only 28 years.
Yes.
It's one thing to be a doctor, but it's another to rise through the ranks so fast, to hold such a position in that age. Tell us a bit more about yourself. There has to be a story behind who you are.
Yes, I'm Dr. Emmanuel Ayodi Lusigi, as you said. I'm a medical doctor, a consultant family physician to be specific. I come from a very tiny small village called Budaiwa. It's in Sabatia constituency, Vihiga County. That's where I was born, that's where I was raised, that's schooled. And I had an opportunity also to interact and go to Alliance High School, and later on joined Moore University, where I did my medical course. I came back to the community, where I've served my doctor life throughout. I've been in the community, serving specifically in Vihiga County. And after that, I'm also saved. I'm a saved Christian, a practicing Christian, and that's where I draw some of the principles that I used while I was growing up, and currently as I'm doing my work and as I continue doing the work. I also had an opportunity to be among the people who were chosen, the doctors, the 50 doctors who were chosen from this country in a program run by the national government, and we went to Cuba, and some lessons that I learned from there are the ones that I'm practicing as I serve the community currently.
All right, lessons from Cuba, we'll be talking about that in just a bit. But Daktari, someone with a heart for God and a heart for the people. Let's talk about the heart for the people. Community service, there has to be a story behind, your passion for serving your community. Where did it come from?
As I've clearly indicated, I was brought up in a rural constituency, a rural setup. And because of that, I interacted a lot during my childhood. And I came to understand some of the challenges that we actually grew up having. I was also orphaned at an early stage, and I think with that also it brought out my resilience to be able to work in the community. Secondly, when I went to high school, our school had a very simple motto, strong to serve. So we also got some inculcation of being a strong service person and serving the community. Thirdly, when I came back to the community, I've worked in the community and I've seen so many problems that people have. And the good thing is that all the problems these people have, they actually have solutions. You understand very well, we have issues mainly, for example, in the rural areas to do with health, to do with education, to do with the issues of people living with disabilities and the vulnerable groups, the women, the elderly. We also have a problem with basic infrastructure. We've got a problem with the issues of water supply, and at the tail end we also have those are some of the things that we have taken time, we have looked at them, and we have drawn solutions on how we can be able to support the community, empower the people to be able to actually have a better community that can serve these current generations and generations to come.
All right. What you've touched on actually just reminds me on something I came up with while I was preparing for this program. It's a report that was released, say, around a year or so ago by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. It launched what they call the Comprehensive Poverty Report. And in the report, they were saying that 15.9 million out of 44.2 million Kenyans are poor. And if you look at this population, 53% of them are actually what they termed as multidimensionally poor. When I talk about multidimensionally poor, it's actually what you've touched on. Yes. That apart from, lacking the basic needs, the three basic needs, basic essentials such as water, sanitation, education, information, generally what one would have to have what we call a decent life. If you look at your village and the constituency you come from back in Vihiga County, is this the reality that people in the rural areas are facing? And what are some of the things that you think or you have done to change the narrative in that particular perspective?
Yes, I think the statistics you've put across are actually at the least, we can say they're heartbreaking, because majority of the people actually live in the rural areas. And if you actually go down to the villages, I'm just not talking about my village back at home or in Sabatia alone, across the country, we have very hardworking men and women who wake up every single day to go and earn a living. But you find they are not able to do that because of the systems and the policies that are there. So currently, we are looking at a scenario whereby we can be able to engage the community directly. For example, if you come to the issue to do with health, we have the community healthcare workers. In the Tier of Health, we have the form level 1 at the level of the community. If you're able to empower them, we are giving them training, they're supposed to receive basic supplies and basic equipment to help them do what you call community diagnosis, which is very key in, for example, detection of these diseases early and controlling some of them. So if you empower those community healthcare workers, you'll be sorting out the issue of what? Health. Okay. If you look at the issue of the economy or the issue of the circulation of money at the community level, if you're able to empower the small-scale traders, your mambamboga, the border people, give them financing, give them training, bring up policies that will be able to reduce the bureaucracies that are there when it comes to doing business, they'll be able to thrive, get good returns on the investment, and the rural economy will be able to grow. So those, at the level of helping the traders, we are trying to see ways in which we can support them, for example, in the table banking, so that they can have an extra coin to expand their businesses. If you come, for example, on infrastructure, you're not just talking about roads. We are talking about infrastructure, the issue to do with water. If you go to the village, for example, where I come from, it's not an arid area, but you'll find that people still go to the well to go and bring to pick water from there. If these people can have piped water that comes right into the village, they'll save on time, they'll also they'll have an extra coin to do something else instead of taking all that time to go to the wells and to be able to get water from there. In education, I'm happy in this country, education is relatively free. But these parents still have to pay a lot of money to be able to sustain the other levies that are normally charged in schools. So we know there are programs like their bursaries and grants that are normally there to support them, but it's not enough. So at the level of supporting education, we are trying to support the parents who are not able to pay school fees, the parents who require basic support in terms of, for example, facilitation of their children as they go to school, to support them, because these people don't have the income to be able to do that.
All right. As you sit here today, what is that one or two practical initiative that you have solely been behind that you would say has worked, or you'd say you're proud of, that has actually impacted the lives of your people in your community?
One area that we have really tried to be able to support and be able to support well, it is on the issue of the small-scale traders, because we want to improve the rural economy. We have engaged them in conversations. We have been able to bring on board quite a number of people and other organizations that are not non-governmental, to be able to listen to them, look at their views, and be able to support them, especially on the issue of financing and the issue of training them to be able to do their businesses well. Another area that we have really tried to support, and I think in collaboration with the students' organization from where I come from, it's called BOOKSA, we've been able to help those people who are living with disabilities, especially in education institutions. Just the other day, we met an institution called Chamakanga, where we have mentally challenged children, and we're able to support them with uniforms, with medication, and also to be able to support them with foodstuffs and all that, and just being able to facilitate what they're able to do. We also did the same at our school for the ones who have a hearing impairment, called Chekombero, and this should be rolled out, and we are using partners to be able to support us in doing this. Lastly, we are looking at the issue of youth. And the issue of youth, we are trying to be able to have a conversation with the youth to tell them they are supposed to take their rightful role as leaders of the community. Because if you're able to take their role, they'll have the vision that the older people had and carry it forward. So that is an area we're also mentoring the youth in most of the sectors that they are able to work in.
All right. We're really, running out of time for this conversation. But then all this, one would ask, what next for Dr. Ayodi in 1 or 2 years? What is it that we are looking at? What will be different?
I think what we are trying to do currently, we actually want to create a conversation to bring good leadership in our in our society. I told you I had a chance to go to Cuba through the government program, and believe you me, in Cuba, almost everything that is supposed to be provided by government is absolutely free.
Is that possible in Kenya?
It's possible. It's possible if you get the right leaders, the right policies, and the right implementation framework. Because education is absolutely free up to the highest level, including PhD and further. Healthcare is free up to super specialized healthcare. We also have the issue of food. Actually, everybody is guaranteed a ration of food every single month, irrespective of their social status. So I think that is also one area that have come in, and we'll offer ourselves for leadership to be able to...
What do you mean offer yourself for leadership? I
think currently, this year is an election year, and people are also planning to choose their good leaders. And as a young son, we brought the conversation that the Constitution guarantees us a seat at the table, okay, the decision-making table, but at times you get the seat, you don't get a plate, and if you're lucky to get a plate, you don't get the food. So I'll offer myself for leadership to be able to serve the people of Sabatia in the coming general elections.
All right. Yes. So if that happens, what are the 3 areas that you seek to prioritize?
I'm prioritizing 3 areas. One, I'm prioritizing the issue of education, because we don't have factories in our area. We actually don't. So the only investment that you can bring in to guarantee a future for our children is to ensure that the education sector is working 100%. They'll be able to go to school well, build good schools, support them through the kitties that are available, including CTF and bringing in other partners to be able to assist them. 2, the issue of health. Coming from a health background, and having served at the county as the head of the county referral hospital, I know the challenges they face. So we are bringing in issues of social insurance, and I know the NHIF program, to be able to support the people to get access to quality and affordable healthcare. The other area that we are coming in to support strongly is infrastructure. And infrastructure, I'm not only talking about roads. We are talking about roads plus issues to do with water and all that. And recently we even launched one of the biggest roads in the county together with the constituency leadership and the county leadership, 20 kilometers road. And I could see the excitement in the community when they knew that that road is going to be tarmac. So we are going to do a lot in terms of infrastructure together with the national government as you collaborate also with the county, because they're also doing the issue of roads.
All right. One question I must ask you before we finalize, because we've run out of time. Why politics? You have been serving your people already. Why politics?
I think it is because at the end of the day, you have to be at the decision-making table. And I'm encouraging young people to do that. People will always be afraid of taking political lines. But, for example, as a member of parliament, you have good policies, you have to represent your people, and you also have to oversight over their funds. So we believe at this opportunity for us to have a good community development strategy. We should be able to be at a level where we can represent them, legislate good policies for them, and be able to oversight on the funds that they contribute as taxpayers. So the best way to change a society is to be a leader at the decision-making level. And in this country, we have levels, for example, the member of county assemblies, the members of the National Assembly, and even the county. So for us, we think the best can be done at the national level, and that is the National Assembly.
All right. I wish we could continue having this conversation, but unfortunately, that's all the time we had tonight. Dr. Emmanuel Ayodi Lusigi, he's a specialist family physician from Vihiga County, having talked to us about what he has done in terms of his, passion for community service and his plan for 2022, going for the Sabatia constituency member of parliament seat. All the best with that.
Thank you so much.
All right, we are going to be taking a very short break right now. When we come back, still more lined up ahead for you, including the latest in the world of sports. Don't go too far. All right, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. We now take you into the world of sports. Kakamega Homeboys proved that they are among Kenyan Premier League title favourites after securing a 3-2 win over KCB in a closely contested match played at Utalii Grounds, Nairobi. Meanwhile, defending champions Tusker FC lost 1-0 to Nairobi City Stars. Moving on, Division 1 champion Akif Virani is the 2021 Motorsport Personality of the Year. The Skoda Fabia R5 driver achieved the feat during a colorful ceremony held last night at the WRC Safari Rally Secretariat in Kasarani.
Akif Virani beat his closest challenger Carl Flash Tundo after an outstanding performance last season. The Nairobi-based businessman was voted for the Coveted Award by Kenya Motorsports Federation competitors, license holders and commissions. Akif registered his maiden KNRC win at the KCB Nanyuki Rally after Tundo was disqualified for being pushed from the end of the power stage by Jasmine Chana. Lynette Ayuko was voted the KNRC Navigator of the Year after a series of top 10 positions. Ayuko, who navigated Maxine Wahome in Division 2 and Hussein Malik in Division 1, racked up unassailable points in the Division 2 Navigators Championship but failed to meet the 75% threshold to be eligible for a title.
I think the only word of caution is that as a government we take doping very, very seriously, and we'll continue doing everything that we can to keep our sports, our sportsmen and our sportswomen clean, both locally and internationally. And I would like all of you to join us in ensuring that that actually happens.
I had been out of rally for 2-3 years. I've been on treatment for some condition. To gain my functions and to just be able to come back to do the sport is one of the biggest things. I'm still under treatment, so it's still an adventure. But at the same time, rallying with both Hussein and Maxine, it was a great experience.
The tarmac racing and the hill climb, we are continually expanding the offering of motorsports in Kenya to make sure that people who are interested in motorsports get an opportunity in different fields.
The Gala Night also awarded 2021 champions in various motorsport disciplines.
Now from motorsport to golf, the road to Glen Eagles Johnny Walker Golf Series trod on at Sigona Golf Club, which hosted the 6th leg of the tournament. A total of 288 golfers converged at the 18-hole golf course to battle it out for the top honors, aiming to play at the tournament's Eagles round to stand a chance to win a fully paid trip to the iconic Glen Eagles golf course in Scotland. Sigona Golf Club's Sam King led Roy Njaru, Peter Waweru and George Gitau to card a combined 114 Stableford points to emerge the overall winners of the leg. The team comprising Sawan Shah, Gurtej Fal, Mil Kamburu and Sawan Raikundalia, whose efforts returned a score of 113 Stableford points. Claiming third place was the team of Sophie Liu, Rima Patel, Mary Wainaina and Zipora Washira, who hit 108 Stableford points. All right, the rise and watching of African stars in European games has amazed many people around the continent who are also attracted to be recognized in different sports. We met Dante Chesa, a 7-year student at the Strathmore School, captain of Ligindogo junior team, who is optimistic that one day he will fly the Kenyan flag high in the FIFA World Cup and also the Africa Cup of Nations.
Lovely touch, Firmino! And it's Salah for Liverpool! That's loose from Chalobah. Sadio Mane needs a goal for Liverpool, and Sadio Mane does get a goal for Liverpool!
Sports is one of the most valuable careers, well-paying and entertaining. Players travel from their places, countries and regions only to take part in sporting activities. Not different from the Ligidogo captain Dante Chesa, who every weekend will be in the field playing with his teammates with one goal: to captain their Rambi Stars and help them take part in the World Cup in future.
I came here when I was like 6. My mom introduced me to this club. I came in Atoms, I started at Atoms. Yeah.
Dante's career and love for football was noticed in a tender age, and the parents had to do something about it.
What I noticed is with the soccer, he loved soccer a lot more. So that is when I tried to find a place that teaches young children soccer, and I happened to pass by and find out about Ligidogo.
After joining Ligidogo, the upcoming young footballer was part of the Ligidogo under-13 side that played in the final of the annual Ligidogo tournament, which was held in Kisami's Kajiado County. At the end of the tournament, Dante's side won under-13 category and lifted the trophy. In his other competitive appearance, young Echesa was instrumental for his team during the UFA tournament, which was held at Syokimau, Nairobi last year. During the tournament, in which 15 teams from Nairobi took part, the young star was crowned the most valuable player of the tournament.
There's a lot of sacrifice in terms of commitment and time, as well as money. But also, on the other hand, there is a positive side in that just other than the awards and the everything, it teaches the child a lot of self-discipline.
The 7-year pupil at Strathmore School was also named as the assist king during the East African Ligidogo Cups.
Some people are really hard to coordinate. There's some people who are on the just on a bit below the good level of football. So you have to toughen them up.
While AFC Leopard is his best local club that he would like to play for, Manchester United is his favorite team globally, although he also aspires to emulate Jordan Henderson, who is a Liverpool captain.
Alright, and that's how we wrap it up right here on Sunday Express. Oscar, you have been watching us from TAS here together with your family, Emmanuel, Josiah, Peace, Joy, Isaac, and Violet. Thank you so much for creating time for us tonight, and all of you who also created time for Sunday Express. We are going to be wrapping it up there. We appreciate your time. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma. Have a good night and God bless.